Let's jump right into Sanctuary, everybody. We're taking a deep dive into Diablo IV's first story expansion, Vessel of Hatred.
Yeah, big news.
We're talking about a whole new class, a brand new region, mercenaries are back. So much to unpack.
Right, a lot.
So we've been, going through all the articles, all the reviews, everything we can get our hands on. And our listeners, they've been asking for this.
Oh, yeah. Everyone wants to know more about this one.
It's huge. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
First things first. Vessel of Hatred. It's not just like, hey, you beat the game, now go kill some more demons.
Right. It's not just more of the same.
It feels different. It feels like Blizzard is trying to, I don't know, like walk this line between
To the veterans.
the veterans who've been there since Diablo II.
Diablo 1 even.
But also bringing in new players.
Exactly. Finding that balance.
So for our listeners who might be new to this whole Diablo thing,
Welcome to Sanctuary.
imagine demons everywhere. Your job. Kill them all.
Pretty much.
That's Diablo in a nutshell.
Simplified, but yeah.
But Vessel of Hatred throws in this curveball.
Oh, yeah.
The Spiritualist.
A brand new class, never seen before.
Not just another barbarian or sorcerer. We're talking harnessing the power of nature.
But it's not just throwing fireballs around.
No, we're talking shape-shifting.
Becoming the animal.
How cool is that?
It's a game changer, for sure. And, people who've been playing Diablo for years, they've been asking for this.
Some more flexibility.
Yeah. More ways to customize your character, your playstyle. And the Spiritualist, they don't just look different when they shapeshift.
Right. It's not just a cosmetic thing.
It completely changes how you fight, depending on which spirit guardian you bond with.
Okay, so let's break down these spirit guardians. We're talking names like Quatli, Rizoka, Woomba.
So like a mystical rainforest roll call.
It is. So who are these guardians? What do they do?
Basically, think of them as your battle partners.
Hmm.
Each one has its own unique abilities, its own style. You've got Quatli the Eagle, all about speed, precision.
Hit and run tactics.
Exactly. Swoop down on your enemies, land a few critical hits before they even know what hit them, and vanish.
Nice. I like it. What about Rizoka? That's the jaguar, right? So we're talking aggression.
Oh, absolutely. Rizoka's all about that in-your-face berserker style. If you want to tear through demons, become the predator, Rizoka's your guardian.
But there's got to be more to it than just picking the coolest transformation.
Oh, yeah. It's not just about looks. Each spirit guardian adds this whole other layer of strategy.
So it's about finding the right guardian for the situation.
Exactly.
Like, let's say you need a tank, someone to just stand there and soak up damage while you pick off the demons from a distance.
Ah, you're thinking about Woomba, the gorilla.
That's all.
Solid as a rock. If you want to be the unyielding wall of muscle, Woomba's your guy.
And then there's Balazon.
The centipede.
Now, I'll be honest. When I first saw that one,
Not the most intimidating creature, right?
but then I read about the poison damage, the crowd control.
It's all about strategy with Balazon. You're not just rushing in. You're thinking, planning, exploiting weaknesses.
So we've got the new class, but that's not all. This expansion isn't just reusing old environments.
Oh, no, we're going somewhere completely new.
No.
Never been there before.
Described as lush but lethal, which to me that just screams.
Dangerously beautiful.
Yes. Jungles, deserts, ruins. It's classic Diablo.
And it's not just about the scenery. Nahantu has its own set of enemies.
Oh, so new ways to die.
Well, you could put it that way. New challenges, let's say.
And of course, we can't talk about new locations without mentioning
Dungeons.
And one in particular caught my eye, the Kudarast Underground City.
Oh, yeah. That one's making headlines.
It sounds like the ultimate test. Multi-phased, requires quick thinking and strategy.
They're really pushing players with this one. But that's what Diablo is all about, right? Overcoming challenges.
And what's a good challenge without some legendary loot at the end? Right?
Exactly. Got to have that reward. But that's not all Vessel of Hatred has up its sleeve.
There's more.
Remember mercenaries from the old Diablo games?
Yeah, those guys you could hire to help out. Sometimes they were great.
Sometimes they were demon food.
Exactly. But it sounds like they're back.
They're back, but with a twist. We're not just talking about stat boosts anymore. These mercenaries, they have personalities, backstories.
Oh, wow. They're like real characters now.
Almost. Take Ulkin the Cursed Child, for example.
Okay, the name alone has me intrigued. Tell me more.
He's torn between his demonic heritage and his humanity.
Oh, so there's some internal conflict there.
Exactly. It adds a whole other layer to the mercenary system. It's like, are you going to embrace the demon side or try to fight it off?
I'm already invested. And we haven't even talked about what he does in battle.
Oh, he can handle himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, imagine you're going through Sanctuary fighting alongside this companion.
And their story is unfolding as you go.
Makes those choices feel more meaningful, right?
Definitely. Especially for solo players.
Gives you that feeling of a team.
Without having to actually team up with anyone, though these mercenaries, it's not just about the story, right?
Oh no, they bring the strategy too.
Yeah.
We've got Rahir the Shield Bearer, for example.
Solid name.
If you need a front line, she's your tank.
So if I like to hang back, let her take the hits.
She'll soak up that damage for you.
Perfect.
Then there's Subo, the bounty hunter.
Okay, so more of a ranged attacker.
Oh yeah. Arrows, daggers, you name it. Pure damage output.
Love it. See, this is what I'm talking about. You've got options now. You can tailor your team.
It adds so much depth to the gameplay. It's not just about your character. It's about who you bring along.
And speaking of teamwork, there's this new dungeon, the Dark Citadel.
Oh yeah, this one's designed for groups.
2 to 4 players.
And it's tough. Like, really tough.
From what I've read, it sounds intense.
You need coordination, communication.
Which, I mean, not everyone loves voice chat.
Right. So Blizzard thought of that too. They added this whole marker system.
So you can strategize without having to actually talk to anyone.
Exactly. You can ping locations, mark enemies, even signal attacks,
Really?
all without saying a word.
That's pretty cool. Accessible.
Exactly. But of course, you don't go through all that for nothing.
There's got to be some sweet loot.
Oh yeah, the Dark
Yeah.
Citadel. That's where you get the good stuff.
New legendaries to chase.
Oh yeah. Got to keep those players hooked. Speaking of hooked, we got to talk about rune words.
Oh, right. Those are back, aren't they?
Hmm?
From Diablo 2.
They're back. But it's not just a copy-paste. They've really expanded on the system.
Okay, so remind me how rune words work. It's been a while since Diablo 2.
So you've got your runes, right? You socket them into your gear.
Right.
But now it's not just about the individual runes, it's about the combinations. You put them in a certain order, you get a whole new effect.
So it's like almost like crafting, but with runes.
Exactly. It opens up so many possibilities for customization.
And we know Diablo players, they love to experiment with builds.
Oh yeah, they're going to have a field day with this.
Eh.
But it's not just about the gameplay that's got people excited.
The visuals are supposed to be amazing, right?
Oh yeah, they've really outdone themselves. The sound design too.
So paint me a picture. What's it like stepping into Nahantu?
Okay, so you're in this dense jungle, sun's barely breaking through the trees, you can hear the leaves rustling, insects buzzing,
Creepy crawlies. Nice.
and then maybe in the distance, you hear something move, something big.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and the music just builds that tension.
It's all about atmosphere in Diablo. They nailed that gothic horror vibe.
They did. But
That-
the game's perfect, right?
Sadly, no. So what are the drawbacks? What are people saying?
Well, one thing that's come up is the complexity of the spiritualist.
Oh, right, with the whole shape-shifting, different guardians.
It's a lot to master. Could be overwhelming for new players.
Especially if you're not used to having to manage so many different abilities and playstyles.
Yeah, it's a lot to juggle.
Definitely not a pick-up-and-play kind of class.
Right. And that kind of ties into another concern people have, the Dark Citadel.
Because it's co-op only.
Yeah. It's great if you've got a group of friends who are all into Diablo.
Mm-hmm.
But for solo players,
Could be a deal breaker.
some people, they just like that lone wolf experience.
Yeah.
You know, going through Sanctuary at their own pace.
Yeah, I get that. And not everyone wants to rely on other people to stay alive.
Exactly. Sometimes you just want to face the demons on your own terms. Hopefully Blizzard will think about adding some kind of scaling difficulty.
Yeah, so solo players can still experience the dungeon. Maybe with fewer players, it adjusts the difficulty.
Exactly. So it's still a challenge, but not impossible.
Makes sense. Now, the last thing I wanted to bring up, the environments in Nahantu. I've seen some comments about repetition.
Yeah, a few reviewers have mentioned that.
Which, I mean, Diablo does rely a lot on procedurally generated content.
Right, but there's a difference between, like, randomizing enemy placements
And feeling like you're running through the same environments over and over again.
Exactly. And in a game like Diablo, atmosphere is so important.
It's true. It's got to be immersive.
Right. If you start to feel like the world is just a bunch of copy-pasted assets, it kind of breaks the spell.
Takes you out of the experience.
Exactly.
Well, hopefully Blizzard takes that feedback to heart.
Yeah, I'm sure they're listening.
So, even with these potential drawbacks, the Vessel of Hatred, it's a big deal, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge expansion.
Yep.
And it makes you wonder, what's Blizzard's goal here?
Right. Who are they trying to reach with this one?
Are they trying to please the hardcore Diablo fans? The ones who've been playing since the beginning?
Or are they hoping to bring in a whole new generation of players?
It's a tough balance to strike. You want to keep the old fans happy, but you also need to evolve. to grow.
It's like, how do you stay true to what Diablo is, but also push the boundaries, try new things?
Exactly. And that's what makes Vessel of Hatred so interesting. It's trying to do both.
Walking that tightrope.
Exactly. And whether it succeeds, well, I guess we'll see.
Only time will tell. But it's exciting, though, right?
Yeah.
To see Blizzard taking risks, trying new things,
It shows that they're still passionate about Diablo.
and that they're listening to what players want.
Absolutely.
So there you have it, everybody. Vessel of Hatred, the new Diablo IV expansion.
I've covered a lot of ground.
We have new class, new region, mercenaries are back.
Rune words are back. Don't forget those.
That's right. How could we forget? But it all comes down to this. Is it any good?
The big question.
And honestly, we can't answer that for you. You're going to have to jump into Sanctuary and see for yourself. But what do you think? What are you most excited about? Let us know. And until next time, happy demon slaying.